Heidi ho, my crafty friends. Welcome to the Ladybug Journals. This is Lori, and I'm so glad you joined me today in my craft room. Today, we are going to insert our signatures into Hey Diddle Diddle. And I do have to tell you, this has been a process, you guys. It has been a process. I spent yesterday working on some pages, and the pages from the original book are so fragile. Let me pop up here in the chair. Are so fragile that I have decided not to sell this book because I would not feel comfortable sending this book out into the, the big wide world and worrying about pages, tearing and not being stable. And I've created tape to kind of help them. And every time you turn a page, every single time you turn a page of the original book, it tears. And I just can't do it. I can't, in my good conscience, I just can't do it. So I'm just not going to do it. And I apologize for telling you guys I was, but we are going to finish it. And I'll just keep it with my journals. And we will create another one. Hopefully that's a little more stable. But I did want to show you how I put the signatures in, because that in itself was an adventure. So the way this book was made, and it is the weirdest little book, you guys. It is the weirdest little book. It actually had two small signatures within the first two pages. So if we took this page, okay, and folded it in half, inside this folded page were two tiny signatures of the Hey Diddle Diddle rhymes, and they were individually sewn. Well, when we cut them out of the book, they became huge, and they would not go back in the book. They just refused. And even now, when I close the book, let me show you. Even now, when I close the book, they stick out of the book. They stick out this far. And I have done everything that my imagination can come up with, other than cutting these pages off, which I truly did not want to do. I didn't want to harm the book. But I think I'm just going to have to do it. So that was another reason. I didn't want to cut the book, and I'm going to have to. So you'll see washi tape here because this page tore. And then, so what I did was I cut off the original piece that we did with the fabric, thinking, maybe that would help. And I added paper. And I added, if you guys can find this at your Dollar Tree, at your Walmart, any place that you can find duct tape, this is duct tape. I don't know if you can see in here. It's duct tape, but it's clear. It is just clear. It is the best for making your journals. I don't know if I can emphasize this enough. It is the best for making your journals. And yes, it does show up a little bit here. I do admit that it does show up, but it is strong, just like any other brand of duct tape. I love it, and I use it for all of my journals. So I just kind of decorated these pages, with some of the cutoffs a little bit to hopefully make them a little smaller and add some support to them. And here is the first little tiny, you'll see where I sewed it in here, signature that is sewed in. And here is where these pages end. And now that it's sewed in, I can add the original back to it, to cover this up over here. I'm going to add this back like that. Or I might just add some coffee dyed paper so it doesn't have any more bulk. But every time I touched a page, and that ends that first signature. So I was going to show you how I was going to cover this break between these little signatures. Right here, right here is the break between them. So I had to sew the individual signatures together as two individual signatures. And then I had to sew them as one signature. So this little book, so here's one little mini signature. These pages here are then sewed as a mini signature. See, here's the sewing right here. And it comes up to the end of the book right here. See, here's the stitching. And then, oops, I'm sorry, that's my phone cord. Let me get it up out of the way. Oops, now I'm wiggling you. Let me get that up there. And there's the end of it. And now they're all sewed together as one. See how it wraps around here? This page and this page wrap around them to make one. And then this whole group is now sewed into the book. I kept thinking to myself, my goodness, that is crazy. So now the very edges of this book, I will have to cut off, and I've got to be really careful. I don't want to cut off the crow's wings from the Tweedledee and Tweedledum. That's what my mom used to call me and my sister. Thankfully, the little monkey's tail is in far enough, or the horse's nose, you know. So I'm really going to have to do some measuring, you know, and make sure that I don't get any of the good stuff. So I wanted to show you. So this is the signature that I made before I sew it in yesterday. Well, I've been working on it for 2 days to try and get it complete before we sew it in. Let me get these paper clips off here. Well, you know what? How about we sew it in and then I'll flip through it. So you guys have seen me measure, you know, for signatures before. I measure the height of the book. Well, yeah, the height of the book, you know, between the cover page at the top and the cover page at the bottom. And it's only the actual width of the inside of the signature. And that's what this is. You fold it in half and you mark your center point. Okay. I marked my center point with an X. Sometimes I'll use a highlighter if I'm putting in a lot of signatures. I mark it with an X, and I actually drew the line this time because I was going to need it with my pencil. And then because I knew this book was going to need some equal support because the pages were so fragile, I then, after I folded it in half, I just folded it again, equal parts. Okay, just equal parts. So then I opened it back up, and since this is a 1-inch spine, I just took my little mat and I laid it down between, I just picked an inch marking, and I said, okay, I need 1/2 inch between my center point. So I folded it back so I could find 1/2 inch. And then I laid it back between my inch, and I found 1/2 inch on one side of my inch line. Let me find my ruler here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Here it is. So here's my inch. Okay, right here. Here's my inch right here. Right there. So I found my 1/2 inch and I drew a line. And then on this side, I found 1/2 inch and I drew a line. Okay. And then I came up to my center point. There's my X. I folded it under and I did the same thing. And then I did the same thing at the top. Disregard those. Those are my boo-boos. And that's where I knew that I was going to punch my my holes for my spine. Now for my signatures, I needed holes down the center. That was why I drew the line. And that's where the X's come from. So that I know that those are only my center points. And those are the ones that I use for my signatures. When I first started, and if you're a new journal maker, sometimes we forget and we punch 2 holes because, well, our template has 2 holes. So I have a journal over here, one of my very first journals, that my signatures have 2 holes and sometimes 3 holes because nobody told me, don't punch all those holes, Lori. They just said, use your template, punch the holes. So I did. So I'm telling you, for your signatures, you only punch the center hole, okay? And to make it look different, I use an X. Sometimes I'll use a highlighter like this. You know, I'll use a Sharpie in a different color. I'll use an old-fashioned, you know, highlighter, you know, like you use, you know, like that. I'll just make my center line a highlighter color. And I just keep them on my craft desk. So when I'm creating those, I have them handy. And I have a little box I call my bookmaking box, and I'll just keep them in there. And when I'm ready to make my templates, I'll pull those out. So I have everything together, and I know for my center points that that's what get made. Okay? So for this signature, this is the standard signature for me. I put this in the middle. You know, I make sure my center line is folded, and then I put it in the middle like this, and I paper clipped it down, and then I folded it as far as I could fold it. Now, sometimes I use my Crocodile Big Bite, but this was small enough I didn't have to. And I start in the center, and I lay my awl, or some people call it their pokey tool, right there on this center dot. Okay, right here on my center dot. And then I close my signature around it, just like that. And then once my signature is closed as far as it'll go, I shove it through until I see the point come through the other side. And I'll show you what it looks like. I don't want to create other holes here because then I'll mess myself up. It'll come through like that. You just punch it right through that hole. Okay? And I'll do that for all 3 holes. And then once it's lined up, I just leave it there. And then this one punched through my lace, right smack through my lace. Okay? And then you leave your signature paper clipped together so nothing moves. Okay? And then you take it to your book, and now we sew it in. Now, if you have fabric on the outside, you're going to have to take your awl and you're going to have to punch back through those holes. See, mine look a little big right now, but this one up here is starting to close up. And you'll see this one looks a little crooked. It is. It is crooked because when I did this, my paper clip came off and it wiggled. But if you do happen to make a mistake in your punch, take this end of it and rub it over it like this. Go like this. See? And it pushes it back down. And then it'll close up quicker. Okay, so now I need to punch that one back through. And whenever you're working with this type of thick board, you want to use a thick needle, okay? You want to make sure you have a needle that's going to go through that. So I like to use, I don't necessarily use a blunt needle, but I use a bigger needle like this. Instead of this one, I used this one on that antique paper because I didn't want to tear it. On this other paper, I'm going to use this one. It's a little bit bigger and there are more pages. I don't need this blunt-eyed needle right now. At other times, I will use it, but I don't want to tear my paper. Okay, so I'm going to put my needles away so I don't lose them, or worse, drop them on the floor. And I'm going to take this is waxed linen thread. You can get this at Amazon. You can get this at Joann's, Michael's. You can get it at scrapbooking.com. You can get it anywhere online, that sells bookmaking supplies. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, you measure 3 times the height of your paper. Okay, if your papers are really small compared to the height of your book, measure your book. So if I was putting in little short pages, but my book was big, I would still measure my papers. But if I have this opened up to a short page, but the rest of my pages were tall, I would measure the tallest page. Does that make sense? If not, drop me a comment and I'll explain it a little bit better, okay? Because I don't want to confuse you. I don't want you guys to be as confused as I was when I first started doing this, because that was a terrible, terrible thing. I kept asking questions, and I had people, I would ask a question and people in the comments would just say, well, how hard can it be? Well, if you're a new crafter, it's hard. Okay, so you're going to go through the center, and then you're going to find your center hole in your book. So here's my center hole, and I'm just going to go right through it. Now, you need to hold on to your pages, and you're just going to pull it through. Okay, now don't let your tail go through your pages. So I just stick it under my thumb, just to remind me. Now, you can go through the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. And since my thumb is over that one, I'm going to go through the bottom. Now, I want to make sure I'm coming through. Let me go on and pull this through since I'm going through tape. Here we go. Oop, oh, there it is. Okay. Now, I want to go through my pages. Just like that. Okay. Now you're going to come all the way up to the top or the bottom. You're just going to go to the opposite end. And then you're going to come into your next hole. Let's pull this through here. Oops, I almost lost my tail, didn't I? Okay, now I'm going to come through my book. Okay, I'm only through the paper. I'm not through my book. So now I need to find my hole that I told to go to sleep. There it is. So I'm pushing it back through the hole. Now remember, this is the hole I squished. So I got to squish it back through. I got to wake it back up. There we go. Whoops. Come back here, tail. Come back here. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. Now line your pages up. And that center hole right there, we're going to go back through it. Now, the one thing you have to be careful of at this point is you don't want to split your thread. So what I do is I fold my pages over and I put it back through. Oops. I'm trying to make a new hole there. And that's not good. Come on, big guy. Try to keep it all together. There it goes, right there. Pull it through. Now, when you go through your paper, you got to be just as gentle because you don't want to split your thread. And let's go through there, right there. Okay. Now, you want one thread on one side of your center. And one thread on the other. Now, before you snug it up, make sure it's where you want it to be. But you can take your needle off. You don't need your needle on. And then grab your ends and gently snug. Snug. Does it sound like a guitar string? Almost. So now let's check the back. Right here, something's not right. So let's pull this. And let's pull this piece. And let's pull this piece. This piece, your original piece, your tail, controls the top. Your new piece controls the bottom. That feels better. Now let's close it and see. Oh, no, it still isn't right. Let's pull this piece over. Okay, I don't see any pieces. That's better. Okay, then you're going to go right over left. Snug. And then you're going to go left over right. And I never do this right, so it is what it is. And then always go right over left again. And then your tails go down to the bottom. Pull this closed. And introduce your pages to their new home. Now you can take off all your paper clips because they're tied in. It's not going anywhere. Okay. And you can get them off your desk like I'm doing. And if you're going to put in any type of charms or anything like that, beads, you can keep these. I'm not, so off they go. Now, let's take a look through this signature. Let's back it up. Okay, this is the first page. And what I did was I made copies of the pages that I liked, and I cut them out because I knew that I wanted to keep them in the book. That's the only way I could do it. They have to stay in the book. I can't use them any other way. So this little journaling card talks about Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Well, he's going in there. Even though there's a kitty cat there, that's all right. I like that little kitty cat. And then over here, I've got a tuck spot. Now I still have some things to put in there. There's a little fish. There's the little spoon, you know, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Here's the keys. You're going to see where they come from in a minute. There's that little boy. Remember that page I told you about? 1, 2, 3. I always used to love that rhyme. You know, 1, 2, 3. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I let it go again. Why'd you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did he bite? The little finger up on the right. I used to love that little rhyme. There's the little fish that goes with that little fish on the other side. And that's just a decorative page. And over here's a little queen, and you could add I can add a little pocket or something. Here's a little tuck. I can put that little tag right there. Here's some little ducks. Here's just a little decorative spot. See, here there's nothing here. It's just a decorative spot with the little ducks. Now this page here, this right here, actually came off of the book. This is part of the original book right here. And then that little puppy right there is from the very first page in the book. And it's a little tuck. And I'll fill this book up, but I haven't got to it yet. So I have some other little, I made some little bookmarks and tags that I'll show you where I'm going to put them. Here's some little pockets. And here's the little Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And we could actually take, where'd that little crow go? That little crow tag, where did it go? Here. He actually can go back here because he's part of their nursery rhyme. And then back here are just some little, this is a little pocket. It's a little double pocket that I made. Right here, there's a pocket there, and then there's a pocket behind it. And then this is a little side tuck. And I decorated this with a piece of that canvas. And then this is just a little pocket right there for like a ticket or something. Over here is a big pocket right here. See? Let's see if I can show you. It goes all the way back there. Here's another piece of that strip that I sewed on. Here's a little side tuck here with paper. This is that little flip out. It's got cock-a-doodle-doo and hey diddle diddle on it. This little tag goes in there. And I still have room. This is a little pocket right here. So I still have room for another tag right there. Just some little paper. Here's a little dangle made with scraps of fabric and lace that are used in the book, plus some little beads. This is just some decoration on the book. Here's a big pocket. This is part of that when I made copies of the decorations. This was part of one of the pages, so I just cut it off to decorate the page. And then this is the original nursery rhyme. And then you'll see some of the tape that I made for it. This is from the original binding on the book. Here's the original nursery rhyme. Now here I'm going to put, now let me find it. I cut the page for it and I wanted to show you. You'll see some of the tape that I made to go down there. It's all, see, it's all worn off and looks old and worn. So I wanted to show you what I was going to cover that with, but now I've lost it. I wonder if I knocked it on the floor. Okay, that needs to get put away. What did I do with the silly thing? Well, I just cut the paper. Well, it's not that one. Well, it's not that one. Well, let's see. Well, let's see if that fits in there. I just want to cover, you know, in here is what I want to do. But I didn't want that because that gets really bulky. And I had cut a piece of, oh, is that it? Nope, I had cut a piece of, well, darn. I had cut a piece of, I keep saying that, don't I? Of coffee dyed paper to put there. And it has grown legs and walked away from me. It has just grown legs and walked away. So I guess I might have to cut another piece. Could I put it up here in my trash bin? All right, if you guys see a piece of coffee dyed paper that's 1 inch wide, holler out, let me know. Because I don't see it anywhere. Well, oh, now I'm getting the hiccups from, to put it in here? No. Okay, well, I guess I'm cutting another piece. All right, well, I don't see it. Oh, silly girl. All right, well, let's cut another piece. It was just a nice piece of 1-inch coffee dyed paper. Nothing fancy. Okay. I don't know where it went. Okay. All right, so I wanted to put this right down the middle here to protect that. So let's fold this up and take that off of there. And let's fold this in half. And then we're going to ink it up real good. Since it's such a, this must be tea dyed paper. And then I'll finish decorating the pages and do a little flip through. I'll put the flip through on my Instagram page after I get it finished for you guys. All right, let's get this inked up real good. Okay. Okay. I thought we would add some tea dye to these colors. Okay, there's the tea dye. And then we're going to add some vintage photo here. Right down the middle. Okay, what was that one? This one. There's the vintage photo. And then to really schmuck it up a little bit, we're going to do this. And now down the edge on the outside, we are going to add our lace. Since everything has sewn in, we're going to add our lace. Okay, now that is going to go right down there. So let's put that there. Let's get that out of the way. And I'm going to use my, okay, I already forgot what it is. To put this, let me clean this tip off here. Put that in my trash bin. Here, you know what? I'm going to run it right down the edge here. Okay, and I want to fold it this way. Okay, so what I did was, in case I was out of camera shot, I folded it the other way also. So when I put it into that groove, I know it'll fit well. And I want to put run just a bead of glue down the groove. Just like that. And I'm going to run a bead right down here. Okay. Just like that. Let's get this and tap this side down. Okay. Now I want to close this in here. Okay, now where did he go? There it is. All right, so let's do this side. All the way up here. Now this will just help. The reason I'm running it down the center is it will help keep these pages from coming loose because they're so old. I want to make sure that they don't tear loose on that sewing. So now I know that they're at least glued in, and this side's glued to this side, so I know it's not going anywhere. Okay, so let me close it up. Let me squish it down, and I'm going to have to take care of this because, as you can see, just touching it, it's already breaking. Yeah, this will be one of those books I don't. Once I'm finished with it, I'm finished with it. It's not going to come out. I'm not going to play with it. You know, it's not going to be used to look at. Once I do the flip through, I'll probably not touch it after that. Okay, so I'm going to grab my, there it is. Let me grab this here off the chair. And we are going to get our lace on the edge of it. Get my sweater up there. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm still wearing a sweater. I know. It's June and I'm still wearing a sweater. Okay. That's because I'm old. Now, I have looked through this and looked through this, and I'm thinking I really like this. This is a antique piece of lace. My friend Kim gifted it to me. It was from her grandma, and I just love it. Love it. But it is not long enough. See? So I tried yesterday to figure out how to use it, and could not for the life of me figure out how to use it. You know, I didn't want to ruin it. There's actually 2 patterns that she gave me. Oh, there's 3. I didn't see that one. So this is very old. So this one has a polka dot on it. And this one has this little print on it. I thought that was very kind of her to share her grandmother's treasures with me. And then this little vintage piece. Oh, I wonder if this will fit. Oh, it does, but it's way too big. Yeah, I don't want to cut it if it's, you know, if it's not going to fit. So let's see here. Okay. Now, what color is that little guy's sweater? His is red. His is green. Oh, but let's see. This is... Okay. We've got some yellows and greens. Okay, that match that. No? I keep going back to this. I really like this. And I've used this before with this. And it just looks very pretty. But I really just like... But with that blue background, I'm thinking I just want to stay with an off-white. I think that's what I want to do. I want to stay with an off-white. Oh, you guys, I just had an idea. I just had an idea. Hold on. Hold your horses there, Nelly. Hold your horses. Okay, so I had forgotten I had these. Now, before anybody goes into a tizzy about crocheted stuff, I found these at this big old secondhand place that my husband and I go to on the weekends. And she sells them for a nickel because she buys them at auction. And I know I'm kind of covering him up a little bit, but I'm not going to glue it down so you can lift it up. And I think this is the one I want because you can still see through it. But I am going to have to cut it in half because I don't want to cover up the whole back of it. So let's see. Let's see if we do half. So if we do half, put half there, or not even half even, I guess. It would be less than half, wouldn't it? Because it's so little. And go to there. And then we could take a piece of this down the back of it. Or stop it. We could stop it right here and take this down the back of the lace to put it in place. Okay, so let me measure here. Now, what did I just do with my ruler? Okay, so this is, how about we go in? Okay, so you need to straighten up here, dude. You need to straighten up. How far back does that go? There, that's what I need, right there. And then that goes back 3/4 of an inch. Okay. All right, so where's the middle? Right here's the middle. And I think this one was not handmade. It's quite obvious this was not handmade. So I'm just not going to get my heart all broken over it. Here it is. I am not going to have my heart broken over it. It's very obviously machine made. It is pretty, but it's not handmade. So if this lovely thing was handmade, then I would have second thoughts and maybe use it on a cover, but it's not. So, okay. All right, dude. You see, now he reminds me of a curtain. Now he reminds me of a little curtain. Okay, I want that seam. Let's see, I want you to be straight. And I want you to go there. Where are you? You know, in a kid's room, a little curtain. They peek out at night. And I'm just going to put the glue down the backbone of the book. Come on, straighten up here, dude. And once I put it down the back, then I can trim here. So let's do that first. You know what? I think I'm going to need to put this under me, though. Here. Let's do it this way. Oh, am I right? Yeah, I'm right. And that way it won't wiggle around on me. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just putting my Fabri-Tac all the way down the spine. And I'm making sure I get the edges here, and I am going to use my finger to smooth it out. And you don't have to use your finger. You can use your card or, you know, a glue smoothing tool or whatever, you know, whatever you want. But, you know, I'm just a finger girl. I use my hands in my garden, and I use my hands when I craft, and that way I can just kind of feel how things are going. Yeah, my husband told me one day, "You're just going to die from all those chemicals." Yeah, well, you never know. Okay, so let me place this where I want it on the front. I want it to look like a curtain for a little kid's room. Make sure I'm centered here. I don't want it floopy. Yeah, like that. And I'm not going to glue it down the front. Maybe, you know, maybe a little bit, but probably not a whole lot. Let's scoot it up here a little bit. Come on, big guy, straighten up. There you go. There, I want that circle part centered. Now, I will probably put charms off of this. There. Now, see, you can pick it up and see. Now, I might come back and put some glue right down there. But I got to deal with the back first. Okay, so the back, I want to cut straight down this part right here. So I need to lay it down. Make sure it's straight. Let me grab my sewing scissors off of this table. Because if you're going to cut straight, you've got to have good sharp scissors. So let's grab our sewing scissors. Okay. Now I'm just following that line. That's all I'm doing. I'm just following that line of the fabric that's going down the back of the book. That's all I'm doing. There. That's all I did. And I won't throw that away. You guys should know that. There. I just followed it right down the back of the book. Okay. Fabric scissors, put away. That's done. Now this actually came off of the book. See, this is actual book paper. I'm going to put it right here to hold that down. So I want to first, come on, big guy. First, I want to run some glue down here. To just hold this lace down a little bit. Like that. Oops, I missed the top. And then, okay, is there a bird on here or something? No, but there are flowers. So I'm going to make it go this way to the top. And then I'm going to put this And again, I'm going to use my fingers. Go right down the back of it. Right like that. To hold that lace in place. And it's right on the edge of the lace. Just like that. And wipe my finger off. And smoosh it down. Okay. And that'll help hold the lace down back there. And smush it down real well. Okay. Now, we got to run some glue down this front part. Before I do that, though, I want to trim this lace off of the edge. Okay, I'm done with that. Let's trim this lace off of the edge here. Because I don't want that sitting on there like that. Yeah. Now when it sits, it'll sit like that, but I do want that sticking up. So we're going to save that little piece of lace. But I'm going to run the glue right down that fabric, and that's the only place the glue is going to go. Okay. Right there. And that'll keep it from peeling off. Just like that. And I missed a spot over there. And smooth it out. Okay. Pull it nice and snug. Did you guys have lace curtains in your room growing up? I know in my demos, some of you guys are my age. And trust me, I'm not going to say that age. Some of you are my age. Did you guys have lace curtains hanging in your windows when you were little? My mom was I used to think she was the lace curtain queen, man. She had shears and lace curtains. I think our windows had like 50 layers hanging at them. There. And then is my closure. I'm not really going to put a big fancy closure on it because of all the lace and stuff sticking out. If anything, it'll just be another wrap of lace around it. But I think I'm just going to leave it. Now, I'm going to let all this dry, and then I'll come back and decorate some more of the pages. But then this book is done, other than putting... let's see, this little kitty cat needs to come in. Other than putting the rest of our decorations that we have here. So let's see, where can we put the cow jumping over the moon? Let's find a page for him. Let's see, our little kitty cat. Where can he go? What pocket can he go in? I'm thinking I might just tuck him right in here. You know, he looks like he's sneaking out. And I think these colors, I'm thinking I might just put him right there. I like him right there. I've played with him right there a couple times, and I just haven't put him down. Now, I did check on copyright, if any of you are wondering. As long as these copies that I have are used within the book, and I'm not selling them, I'm not altering them, as long as they're the original copies and I'm using them in the book, I'm okay. So, you know, before anybody has a tissy, I'm okay on using them, but they have to stay in the book because that's where they came from. Okay, and this little girl here, I think I'll like her up here, and I'm probably going to end up putting a pocket down here. And this little goose, I really liked these houses. And I think I might put her over here, but I want to put this little goose, this little girl down first. And I'm going to put a pocket over here for her. All right, so I want to thank all of our new subscribers for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and welcome. And thank you for all the kind comments that I've gotten recently. You guys just are so very kind. And welcome back to all of our current subscribers. And I encourage you to leave a comment, because I'm always going to answer it. And if you enjoy our videos, feel free to comment, like to them, even subscribe to the channel if you'd like. That way you'll get notifications of all the upcoming videos and all the fun that we're going to have. Starting in July, there'll be some new videos coming out. On Tuesdays, there will be another fun series coming out. And we'll even be wrapping up our beginner series on our altered book here pretty soon. So we'll have to have a new beginner series on Mondays. And I have some fun ideas for you guys. So I hope that you stick around and have some fun with us. Oops, turn around here, girly. You're upside down. Let's see. I think I want you over here. Now, there was a little tree that I wanted with her. Where's that little... There you are. Whoops, you're upside down. Can't be upside down, you silly goose. Oh, I guess she's the goose. Maybe she is silly. Who knows? So feel free to like and subscribe to the channel and to all the videos. And I hope you guys are creating with us and having some fun. There we go. There we go. There. Okay. Well, that's all the fun stuff that I have for today. And until I see you again in our next video having some fun, ta-ta for now.